Hello and welcome back to the 11th episode of my Pokemon Emerald Catch Everything playthrough. Today we are going to be moving off Route 111 and onto Route 112 where there are some Pokemon to catch. But first we're going to start off by fighting this trainer. And we are not too far away from evolving some of our Pokemon again. I don't think it'll be too long before Golbat evolves into Crobat, partly because of some of the breeding we did, and some of the breeding we will be doing soon. And also we're not far off Gardevoir evolving as well, or evolving into Gardevoir at least. So we've got some good stuff coming our way, and we're also going to be catching, I believe, 2 new Pokemon this episode. One of which very nearly made it into my team, but instead I went for Crobat. Wingull still hard walls Combustion pretty effectively, but Numel does not, so I will stay in. And you can see we're level 27 on Golbat and Combustion at level 28 on Curlier still. So nothing too much has changed between this episode and the last. We are about to head onto the Soot route, which, basically everyone in the following town is inhaling soot from a volcano, which probably isn't very good for their respiratory systems, but I guess they don't have a choice. Luckily, Roselia missed a Stun Spore and Wingull also missed a Supersonic, so we got pretty lucky there, and Combustion was able to finish them off. And we are learning Bulk Up finally. We do have a TM for Bulk Up, but I just decided not to use it because I knew I would learn it on Level Up anyway. And I'm going to get rid of Scratch. Scratch and Peck are pretty much the same power, but Peck does at least give some super effective damage on certain things, so we might as well keep that over Scratch, I think. And we learn Bulk Up. I mean, the stuff that Peck hits is largely grass types, bug types, which obviously Combustion doesn't struggle against either of those anyway, but you never know. Still, I think it's the slightly better option of the two that we're never going to use either of anyway. And so as you can see, we kind of, as we move across this grass, we turn it into green grass again, and that's something that we are going to be doing once we get hold of the Soot Sack. So there are some items that we can pick up along this route, and there are some that we're going to have to do some grinding for and lots of walking. So I will be doing that. You can get flutes which heal your Confusion and Infatuation, and those can be pretty handy to have just around. They are not consumable. They get infinite uses, so they're pretty worth getting, I think. I mean, you can always just buy full heals, and that's probably a better and faster option. But yeah, one thing I didn't talk about was the Pokemon available on this route, and the first of which we have bumped into is a Spinder at 70%. After that you can get a Slugma at 25%, and finally a Skarmory at 5%. So I will of course be catching all 3 of those, although I do already have a Slugma. Hopefully Peck doesn't kill this Spinder. I do also need to catch a male Spinder, so I could just let this one go, but I need to catch and train up a male Spinder in order to learn Hypnosis. One of the Pokemon we're going to be using is going to be using Hypnosis as an egg move, and I guess I'll just throw a Pokeball and break my nice round stack of 60. But yeah, one of the Spinder learns Hypnosis fairly early on Level Up, and it is in the right egg group, so I will be using that. And thankfully I do not want to name our Spinder, but I will be catching another one, so I probably shouldn't have wasted a Pokeball, but it is what it is. So we're now going to come down and do this double battle I'm also going to switch Golbat to the front because it's a level below and take this item from Zigzagoon, and we get an X attack, which we probably won't use, but we have it if we wish to. I guess I'm thinking that this kind of scientist or whatever to the right is going to stop us getting to that ash pile, but I think we can go round to it. Because that ash pile probably has a hidden item in it. And I'm not going to be, I'm not particularly fussy about getting every hidden item, but if I know there is one somewhere, I will go and pick it up. And Coughing and Baltoy should both go down pretty easily. I'm actually going to just Ember the Baltoy, I guess. I could have doubled up, because if this doesn't kill, which it doesn't, a bit annoying, but doesn't matter too much. We do take a Psybeam with Golbat, but Baltoy is not the strongest Pokemon, so I'm not going to worry too much about that one. And Wing Attack should finish off the Coughing, and Ember should finish off the Baltoy. Yeah, so we're still using Ember for now. It might be a little while before we switch to before we can switch to a better move like Flamethrower, but who knows. It's mostly money driven, I think, because we can buy it from the game corner, but I just need to make sure I've saved up enough money to do so. If we take out Ninjask. Ninjask is going to be really annoying and use Furious Wipes just to waste some time, but luckily it only gets 2 hits, so that's good. And we should easily kill it with Wing Attack. So even though we're 9 levels higher with a pretty fast Pokemon in Golbat, Ninjask is just incredibly fast. I think it has base 160 speed or something, and it also has speed boost, so it is pretty much always going to outspeed whatever it's in front of. But thankfully it's also not a very good Pokemon at all, with some niche Baton Pass uses. Yeah, so we now can't get to that ash pile, but if we do go out and round, I think we can come up behind him. And it's not a scientist, it is a Pokemaniac. I don't know if we've seen, I'm sure we have seen one of these before in this game, but if not, there's the first one, and we have absolutely nothing for Aron, so let's see how much Bite does. It's probably best to switch out, but if we keep flinching, then it can't do anything too annoying, and it might 3-hit kill. And Headbutt, despite being a pretty powerful move, does absolutely nothing, so we can muscle our way past anyway, and that's very, very handy. I am going to switch out this time though, just so I'm not banging my head against a wall, so to speak. And Combuskin should be able to, should very easily one-hit kill this with Double Kick. Aron is Rock and Steel type, which is not a great typing because it has a lot of mutual weaknesses, so fighting type moves and ground type moves are both 4 times effective, and then also you've got the issues of, so we can pick up 2 items here. So we get a Super Repel, which will probably be, I might use to supplement my grind for Ashes. I didn't mean to do that, I'm trying to do this, should have got off the bike to do that. But yeah, as I kind of mentioned earlier, I am going to need to walk through a lot of these ash piles, and as you do that, once you have the ash sack, or the soot sack, let's see if this is a male. So yeah, this is a male one, so I'm going to catch this if I can not kill it with Bite. Could have used Leech Life as well. And I'll probably just start throwing balls. I don't think Leech Life would have killed from there, but it might have done, and I don't think Spinder's got a very high catch rate, so we should be absolutely fine, and we are. So, apart from that voice crack, we're doing pretty well. And we have our male Spinder, which we are going to be levelling up before too long. And this is the Slugma, which is the another main encounter on this route at 25%. And we will, of course, be hunting for a Skarmory before too long. So we did we fight this guy earlier? Yeah, we did. So now we're just going to carry on with this route. I'm going to use that super repel just for convenience. Oh, I guess I'll use the repel first. And we can see that item up there, and this trainer here. So normal should go down to 1 wing attack, I think. I'm very much enjoying having Golbat be useful after Zubat was not, and you can see it kind of chews through a lot of the in-game at this stage. Aided by the fact that we are so over-leveled, but I'm enjoying it, so that's all that matters. These games aren't particularly hard at the best of times anyway, so I won't lose too much sleep. And hopefully we can see these two off pretty easily. Also, with their dual Spinders. I think Spinder might be able to take a wing attack, even though it's not a very good Pokemon. It is only it is a final form. It doesn't evolve, so they usually have kind of higher base stats than some Pokemon in the area, like Slugma, but they also never get any better. And we kill it with relative ease, and that should be the end of that battle as well. And we're now up to level 28 with Golbat as well. I could learn Confuse Ray instead of Supersonic, I guess. One's 55 accuracy, the other's 100, so that's a kind of no drawback decision. I didn't realise Supersonic was that low. I thought it was like 80 accuracy. That does explain a lot of the misses I've had with it. Now, if we come and pick up this item, and then, let's get off the bike. My control with a keyboard's not particularly great. We're going to be continuing this way, and hopefully we can manage to get through without any more encounters. I do still have the repel up. Let's see if this guy's got anything to say. Not too much. So this is the house for the glass workshop. This is where you can pick up the soot sack. If we come up here and speak to this guy, he gives you the soot sack, and by walking through the ash on the grass you can pick it up, and if you collect enough he will give you certain items. You can buy certain items, I guess. So we are going to need, or we're aiming to get the blue flute, the yellow flute and the red flute, which in total is 1,250 steps in Ash, so that's going to be quite a while, but yeah, so it's going to be quite a while, but that's fine. I will be doing some Pokemon grinding on this route. I think I will grind up my Spinder on this route, so I might as well take advantage of doing it on this route and collect ashes at the same time. The blue flute wakes up sleeping Pokemon and costs 250 Ash. The yellow flute snaps Pokemon out of Confusion, and the red flute snaps Pokemon out of Infatuation. So they're mostly kind of optional items. You can just do it with full heals and be absolutely fine, but I think it's quite a nice thing to show off as well as just having some utility value. The other things you can use are the white flute and the black flute, which the description makes it easier to encounter weak Pokemon with the white flute and makes it easier to encounter strong Pokemon with the black flute. I don't fully understand how that works. In later games it's a bit clearer, but in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire I believe it's a bit more clear, but it's not super obvious in this game. And then for 6,000 steps you can get the Pretty Chair, which is a very small glass chair you can get for a secret base, and for 8,000 steps you can get the Pretty Desk, which is at least a bit bigger, but it's similarly useless. It's just a cosmetic item. And for 8,000 steps that is a lot of steps, particularly in an area where you can also get wild encounters. The good thing about using Golbat is that it cannot be poisoned by Koffing's poison gas. But before we do any grinding for Ash or Skarmory, I am going to... I think there is maybe one more item here. This might be... Yeah, so this is TM32 Double Team, which there are multiple ways to get in this game, but that is not a bad one to choose. It's not a TM I'm going to be using. I do have Double Team on Curlier at the moment, but I think that will probably get replaced in the long term. But it can be handy if I'm in a pinch. So if we bite the Aron, again, probably should switch out, but as long as it doesn't supersonic me or do anything too annoying, I don't mind, and we should be able to 3-hit kill hopefully. Yeah, that looks like a pretty clean 3-hit kill. Iron Defense boosts physical defense, and Bite is special in this game, so that doesn't matter. And we do get a worthless crit anyway, just to clean up, I guess. And now we are done with the route, so we are now into Fallarbor town, almost. However, we do have 2 more trainers to fight. I'm just going to check, I don't know, open my Pokédex, I'm going to check who we have. So I guess I'll just leave it like that for now. I didn't actually mean to walk past those, but and hopefully Golbat and Combustion can see off these 2 pretty easily. So we do see a Skarmory. It's a very good Pokemon, particularly good in competitive battling because it has very high defense and it has pretty good move pool. It has spikes, it has Roost, Whirlwind, but unfortunately it hasn't made it to Gen 8, at least at the moment for recording, and it's probably not as good as Corviknight is anyway, but at least for the few generations after it was added in Gen 2, for a few generations it was pretty solidly OU, which is the top tier for singles battling. And that was the Pokemon I almost used. I almost chose it over Crobat, but I think Crobat's quite a good option. I like having the extra speed as well, although the lower defense is not ideal, but it's not the biggest issue either. So that may actually kill us. No, it doesn't, thankfully. Swellow's pretty strong. It flinched somehow. Wing attack doesn't flinch, I don't think. So he may well have a some sort of item on to... I guess, is it King's Rock, I think? Hopefully a quick attack doesn't kill either. I don't need to keep Combustion alive for anything. For like happiness is the main thing that goes down when you faint, but even so, wouldn't want a pointless death to a random Swallow if possible. So now we are finally out of the Ashy route and into Fallarbor town, and there are some things to see here. There is not a gym in this town, so we are still a bit of a way off our 3rd gym badge, and we've got plenty of Pokemon to catch and train before then also, but there is a nugget there if you look at that, and then there's the Pokemon Center and another battle tent. So I guess we'll start off with the battle tent, why not? There's often a TM in these, and they're also a fun idea, even though I'm not the biggest fan of the kind of actual execution. So Scott is following us around once again with his very dubious sunglasses on. So the battle rules are: one battle lasts only 3 turns. If the outcome is not decided, it goes to judging. We'll choose the winner based on how the Pokemon battled. Pokemon cannot be switched out until its battle outcome is decided. So there's mind, skill and body. This all sounds very nebulous and RNG based, but yeah, once again I'm sure you can have fun with it if you choose to. Stop moving. So we've got an ambitious little kid, and this is the first one I don't think we get a TM from, so That's a bit disappointing, but nonetheless I will survive, I'm sure. This is my precious Azurill. I'm not exactly sure what item we need to breed an Azurill. I will have to look that up at some point, but I think I'm going to breed all the baby Pokemon at once. And we hear from, this is Professor Cosmo's house, who we've come to see, and we hear that he has disappeared into Meteor Falls, so we will be heading towards Meteor Falls. There should be one more house, I think, which is the Move Tutor's house. So, and then one more house over this way as well, which is the Fossil Maniac's house. So if we come in here, there's something on TV, I'm sure that's not interesting. So this Move Tutor, basically you can give him a heart scale and he will tutor you a move that your Pokemon already learned on level up. So this can be useful for a variety of things. If you delete the wrong move or something, it can be handy. There's something on that Zigzagoon again as well. So it's kind of worth knowing it's here, but I don't think I'm going to be using it, but we shall see, I guess. And so now, the final two things to look at in this town are the mart, which if we come in here, we can pick up some super repels if we choose to. So I am going to pick up a few, just to make my hunt for Ash slightly easier. And then we've also got various other X items which can be useful if you wish, and I might as well pick up another 10 Great Balls just for, although they are kind of a waste of money, but yeah, I'll pick up 10 Great Balls, why not? It's more cost efficient to use Pokeballs than any other ball, just because they have the highest catch rate per Pokédollar, if you care a lot about that. So I largely do use Pokeballs to catch stuff, but not exclusively. So we hear something about the Fossil Maniac at the edge of town, so we will be heading out that way to Route 114, but we do have a Skarmory to catch first, and if we want to use the PC, we see someone is blocking us, so I'm just going to heal up and then we'll talk to her. She doesn't fight you or anything, so it's not necessary to heal up, but we may as well. And so this is the Bill of Generation 3, Lynette. You spoke to me because you wanted to access something on the PC. Yeah, very deductive. And she says to come and find her on Route 114, so we will be heading that way, and I think we do get a Lotad doll or something out of it, so if that's something that you are desperate to have, then certainly stop by. But I am going to be withdrawing this Spinder and depositing the Numel, because I have no need for the Numel at the moment. I do want to eventually organise these in Dex number order, so that is a longer term goal once I can be bothered to do it, basically. But I do have lots of Pokemon where I've got two of the same thing, so I will probably release all of those eventually. And I need to decide if I want to catch multiple of different Pokemon to have one of every Pokemon alive, so not just for instance catching a Wurmple and evolving it to Dustox, or I would need to catch 3 Wurmples and have a Wurmple, a Silcoon and a Dustox. Right, so I'm going to head back onto Route 113, and I will be hunting for I will be collecting Ash and hunting for a Skarmory, and I will see you in a moment. But I am also going to be giving the XP share to Spinder. And as much as I said I was going to level up Curlier, I've actually been using Golbat for the most of this, and I've managed to go all the way up to level 30 already. I also missed this item earlier, so I just thought I'd show myself picking that up, otherwise I'm sure someone would have noticed it. It would definitely annoy me if I saw someone miss that and not go and pick it up. So there, I have now been and picked it up, and I'm now going to switch to Curlier in the front and let it catch up with the other two and take off this item from Zigzagoon and get a free height potion, so that's always good. Spinder's now level 18, so it's slowly creeping up there, I think it needs to be about level 23 for Hypnosis, but I could be wrong. I don't remember exactly off the top of my head. So basically what I've been doing is running along here, back and forth, and then running back into Fallarbor to reset the ash, and then coming back and just doing that over and over again. So finally, after a fair bit of hunting actually, this is a 5% chance, so 1 in 20, and we've definitely had more than 20 encounters. I've done 10, at least 10 or 11 with Curlier, and a pretty good number with Golbat as well, but we do finally have a Skarmory, and we do confuse it, which is probably not a good thing, because this has quite a low catch rate, I believe, and I do not want it to kill itself. I'm going to go for another confusion, and that's probably all the damage I'm going to do, because I do not want it to suicide with hitting itself. I would also like it to hit itself once though, just to weaken it a bit more. It has pretty high defense. Because of the high catch rate, I am going to use Great Balls just to speed this up a bit. But I probably will cut out most of this anyway. So and it's almost managed to kill my Curlier, so I am actually going to switch out into Golbat. I think it can take a bite, so I could regret this, but and there we go, we do finally manage to catch it. It took us quite a few balls, but at least it's done now, so stupid bird can finally be done with. I am actually going to come back this way and check where we're up to with the... Oh, I'm dreadful at using this bike. So after derping with the bike, I do make it inside the house, and now we can see if we've got enough ashes. Let's go for the pretty chair, because that'll tell us how many steps we've done so far. So this would be 6,000 steps, and we have done 403 steps so far. So we're kind of on our way to getting 1,250, but still a pretty big way to go. So I'm going to probably just continue. I'm going to wait to grind this out, because I do need the levels on Spinder, but I am also going to be catching a couple of new Pokemon soon, which I will need to level up, so I might as well do that here and kind of grind the steps that way and not have to think too much about it and use Super Repels, etc. So yeah, we are now all done with the town for now, but we will be coming back, I'm sure, and we're going to head on to Route 114 instead as our next order of business. Heading west from Fallarbor, we do come to Route 114, and initially we can catch some Pokemon from fishing. You can get Magikarp at 70% and Goldeen at 30% with the Old Rod. But first we're going to come into the Fossil Maniac's house. We do of course have both of those Pokemon, so I won't be fishing for them. And this guy has a TV that's blaring and some bookshelves moved, and he's dug a big tunnel in the back, so we can be heading back here. But we do also get the TM for Dig, which I don't think I'm going to be using. It's 60 power ground type attack that takes 2 turns, so it's not great in this game. It has some uses later in other games, but it can be useful if you need a ground type move, or if just for instance Combustion can learn it, so that can be a good way to muscle through the fire type gym. And he says to look in a desert where there are boulders and sand that may hide fossils, so we will be doing that. Before too long, the desert we walked past and the tower that we couldn't go into does have a fossil in it, so we will be hopefully acquiring one of those. But now we can begin to fight some of these trainers, and I'll probably end at the bridge, so before we kind of get to the grass and all the new Pokemon there, I'll leave that for next episode. Don't know exactly how long this one's been running for, but it feels like we've probably hit the just over half an hour mark, which is roughly what I like for these episodes to be. I probably could have finished up in Fallarbor, but I want to keep making some progress here as well. I'll just go for Psychic. This should be a pretty easy KO. Barboach is not very strong. And yeah, so he just has the Barboach. Knock that out pretty easily. So if we come down here, there are there's an item there that we can get, which we'll get to, and we can also get the TM for Roar here. So Roar is a non-attacking move that switches the opponent out, and it always goes last, basically. So those are the two big things about it. Can be pretty useful competitively, but generally Whirlwind's more common, just for no other reason than I think this sort of Pokemon who has it. I think Hippowdon gets Whirlwind, and I don't know if it gets Roar. I don't know if there's any other reason to use it, but to use one over the other, but yeah, they both do. They both function in a very similar way. So we should be able to knock these two out in one go pretty easily, just with Psychic to the Barboach and Double Kick to the Nuzleaf. And we do take that out pretty easily. And hopefully Barboach goes down as well. So Spinder's up to level 20 now as well, which is good. And next episode we should also get hold of a Gardevoir for the first time. So that's something to look forward to. So we pick up this item, we get an energy powder, and I think there's one more trainer for the episode, which is on the bridge here. So next time we will be coming down here and fighting all the trainers, etc. that's available down here, and visiting Lynette's house. For now, this will be the final trainer of the episode. Trace Swift Swim, which is obviously going to be a big help in this battle, I'm sure. Psychic, once again, just absolutely mowing through people. It's taking a little bit longer than it probably should to level up Curlier, just because of the XP share on Spinder, but that shows how many Pokemon we had to kill to catch that Skarmory, just because of how many levels. We got 2 levels on Golbat from that. And when we do eventually get back to Verdanturf, I will check Golbat's happiness again if we haven't evolved by then. I don't think it'll be too long, but once we get back there we'll also be doing some breeding. So yeah, we've got something to look forward to there as well. And because once we do breeding, we'll get lots of steps, and when we get lots of steps, Golbat will evolve. So Crobat shouldn't be too far off, and neither should Gardevoir. That is going to be the end of the episode. I'm probably going to head back and heal up and prepare myself for the deluge of new wild Pokemon to catch in the next episode. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time.